let's transition to USADA. You hear about that news, right?
Yeah, that is basically he took himself out to put the testing pool or something mad like that.
No, well. Okay, so that's the back. Okay, so you've gone that part then. So yes, after the nasty break, he was out of the testing pool because he wanted to obviously take drugs to help him heal himself. Which if that's what you're allowed to do, etc., etc., then by all means. Now he's supposed to be fighting. He did the Tough Series 90,000, whatever his number is, against Michael Chandler. And what normally happens is you do your tough, season, and then there's a tough event where the fighters will then fight for a full contract in the UFC. And then what happens? The two coaches then fight. Strangely enough, Mark, that hasn't happened. Well, why couldn't that happen? Because he's coming off a serious break to his leg. He's on drugs. We saw the size of him. He's on, performance enhancing thing to get himself back. He was looking like a monster. He was looking like a 185er. Right? So there's all this talk about, oh yeah, the fight's on. Nah, man, we ain't gonna do a tough season without, them the coaches fighting. So yeah, man, we're gonna fight in December. So if that's done, he was only recently actually officially put back into the testing pool. So you're supposed to wait 6 months. The time frames didn't add up. So then USADA came out with this thing saying, to our shock and dismay, the UFC are we're no longer in business with the UFC, so we're not going to be testing the athletes anymore. So a lot of people are saying, well, that seems to be a bit convenient. I mean, if we can cast our minds back to a gentleman who has the moniker of Picograms Jones, who's been tested twice for flipping traces of something that he's not supposed to have. Now, substances can be tainted, that you can buy from the shops because the vats at the manufacturing plants aren't fully cleaned out, etc., etc. So these things can happen. Yeah, but he tested positive. And they moved the whole event from California because they said, wait a minute, if he's tested positive, like, he can't fight. What are you talking about? So they moved the whole card, whether it was from California to Vegas or Vegas to California. That's what they did. So there's always been a bit of a cloud in regards to the effectiveness of this USADA. There was a massive lawsuit with Mark Hunt against the UFC, suing UFC and Brock Lesnar. There was a telephone conversation, a conference call, and verbatim, Brock Lesnar says, "Yeah, I'm a jacked white boy. What do you think this thing is? I'm coming here. I'm gonna mob my youth," and that's exactly what he did. And then what happened at the end of that contest? He was found to have performance-enhancing substances. He wasn't in the USADA testing pool, Mark, because it was a last-minute thing. So we fast forward to the Gregorian year of 2023, and USADA and UFC have totally split ways. And they did a big press conference about it, damning the CEO or the chairman of USADA, saying he's an idiot, and we're spending all this money and we couldn't track the people. Then think about this, people. You're a professional athlete. You're a professional athlete, and you are contracted as an independent contractor, not as a member of staff, to fight periodically when you are given a matchup for a show and win money. Okay, so outside of that, you're just doing your thing. But in the meantime, USADA can turn up at your door at 4 a.m. in the morning, say, "Yo, go on the debauchery. I'm coming here with you. I want to see you urinate into this something, and we're gonna be drawing some blood." You could be in Heathrow Airport, just about to jet off to the Maldives, and you get a text on your phone saying, "Yo, look behind you. I'm 3 people behind. Yo, we need to go to a toilet somewhere. I want your blood and your urine." This is the things that the athletes are having to do. They have to tell them their whereabouts at all times, all kind of crazy stuff. And remember, they're independent contractors. They don't get paid a salary per se every year and in bonuses for this invasion of your privacy. Okay? So then now this is done, Mark. This is done. They're not in the business with USADA no more. The US Anti-Doping Agency. They're talking about doing it themselves, and they've hired Mark. Listen to this. This is the most excellent thing that I've ever heard in my life. Like in this remit, the UFC have sought out the man that that interrogated Saddam Hussein, okay,
To do
and
what?
did all kind of to be the head of their lab where they themselves will be paying this independent company, quote unquote. It's their own lab, and they've hired this guy to oversee the testing of all of the athletes. So it sounds like they removed liability and outsourced it, and now they're in bringing it in house, and they're getting some guy who has no kind of understanding, as far as I'm aware of, about the drug policies and testing. He's just got a a experience in interrogating, like, presidents who were later killed and stuff like that, and Iraq wars and stuff, and has some kind of jujitsu experience. So we got some questions, sibling. We got some real big questions because Dana White said that Connor and Chandler, they're fighting. They fighting. I ain't got a date, but they fighting. And there's no more USADA.
No more. You saw. Yeah, that's mad. That's mad. So that means that realistically, they can manipulate their own results now.
Exactly.
So really now, you won't really get no drug cheats like
Hey,
that.
and let me add another thing before you build, sibling. Let me add another thing. The last fight, was it the last fight? Nathan Diaz, aka Nate Diaz, they said to him, shh, shh, listen. We found some, like, something in your thing, some like marijuana or something in your something. Don't say nothing, right? Don't say nothing. Just fight and we'll sort it out after. Nate said, no, whoa, I ain't fighting then. You sort it out before I step into that squared circle or the octagon trademarked name, and then I'll do the fight. I ain't keeping quiet about nothing. If you're saying that something's in the thing, you're not overturning it after or saying no. Sort it out now.
Yeah,
So there's a history of this thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it sounds like they're yeah they're gonna be able to do their own thing, man.